What up, what up? Another video. And I'm gonna open this thing up with a little bit of musical history. This marker commemorates Bobby Jean Emmons, part of the Mississippi Music Trail, which was established in 2009, the Mississippi Country Music Trail, that is. And Bobby Jean Emmons was a genre-spanning keyboardist and songwriter and a Corinth native who embarked upon a music career in his teens. As a member of the revered American Sound Studio house band in Memphis, his Hammond organ both anchored and enlivened pop, soul, jazz, and country hits by a striking range of artists: King Curtis, the Box Tops, Dusty Springfield, Elvis Presley, Neil Diamond, and John Prine among them. His greatest songwriting success came after moving to Nashville in 1972, including the Grammy-nominated Luckenbach, Texas, recorded by Waylon Jennings with Willie Nelson. So Bobby Jean Emmons recorded and collaborated with a bevy of legendary musicians. Let's get it. Good afternoon, good people. This is P9 with another video, and I am here in Corinth, Mississippi. Corinth is the city and county seat of Alcorn County, and Corinth is populated with 14,573. So a little less than 15,000 people reside in Corinth. And aside from Tupelo, Corinth is one of the largest cities in the northern portion of the state of Mississippi. And it was established in 1853. And when Corinth was initially established in 1853, it was named Cross City due to its location at the junction of the Mobile and Ohio and Memphis and Charleston railroads. And I am now located in the downtown portion of Corinth. And Corinth was renamed from Cross City to Corinth due to the famous Greek Crossroads city located in Greece, which Corinth is actually short for Corinthia. So right here in the town, we have this restaurant called Firebird's Sourdough Pizza and Gourmet Burgers. Looks like a staple right here in downtown Corinth. I'm gonna come back down there after a while. Just over here on Cruz Street, at the corner of Cruz and Taylor Street. Taylor Street is Cruz Street is the main drag downtown Corinth. And check out this building right here. It has that sign at the side of it. It says, "You'll like it. You'll like it, drink it. Send alcohol." I'm not sure what that says. At founts and bottles. So they sent, apparently they sold 5-cent bottles of Sin Alco, which was a fountain drink back in the day, apparently. But it sits right here in the side of this old building. So this, like, this historical building right over here is the Corinth Symphony Orchestra. So it looks like a theater of sorts. But it's on the National Register of Historic Places, so it's an extremely historic building right here in Corinth. And this building right here is the Alcorn County Courthouse. It looks like some work is being done on it, potentially renovations. They have this property fenced off. Let me see what this sign says. Okay, it says Alcorn County Courthouse Restoration. So the contractor, the Roberts Builders Incorporation. Okay. So they're doing restoration on the courthouse, so that's pretty cool. Check that out. They have a drugstore, Borum's Drugstore, across the street. Now, before I came to Corinth, I read that that drugstore is a pretty big tourist attraction here in Corinth. I'm gonna check it out a little later. They even have the downtown map right here. I love downtown maps, so that's pretty cool right here. So demographically speaking, here in Corinth, according to the most recent census data available, the city of Corinth has a 64.8% white population, 24.4% black population, and about a 6% Hispanic or Latino population. So it's definitely a lot more mixed race than Iuka was, which is the city I stopped in en route to Corinth. And check this out. They actually do a classic 10K run sponsored by Coca-Cola right here in Corinth. And this 10K race took place going back to 1982. And it was for a good cause, basically Cause for the Cure is one of those cancer research type events. The late Jimmy Whitehurst approached the race founder Kenneth Williams regarding a fundraiser for the Kidney Foundation of Mississippi. Corinth Coke just happened to be looking for a way to celebrate its 75th anniversary the same year. And soon the inaugural race was off and running. The race has been pounding the pavement ever since. So if you look at it, this is the path for the race that takes place right here in Corinth. It starts downtown right over here. And this is the route it takes coming all the way back to downtown where it finishes. So it actually starts a little further up north of downtown. But yes, this is one of the historic events right here in Corinth that takes place on an annual basis. So far it looks like a pretty nice small town, small city charm to it. They have a little barbershop right here. Ebony and Ivory barbershop. It's interesting. And check this out. Look at this mural. It says drink Coca-Cola. And it's been up since 1932. By Harold Goodwin. Harold Goodwin was the one who did this mural. I'm over here at the corner of Fillmore Street and Cruz Street now. Check out these buildings. Black Sheep Salon and Tattoo. Okay. So it's a salon and a tattoo parlor all in one. It's unique. Yeah, check out this building right here, this old historical building with the wrought iron balcony road over here. This building is occupied by a financial advising company, financial advising firm. This property has been placed on the Historic American Building Survey by the U.S. Department of Interior. And this is also where the Daily Corinthian newspaper is published, right in this building right here. And check this out. They have a Trailhead Park right here in downtown. And this Trailhead Park marker right here illustrates the Civil War history right here in Corinth. There's a lot of images right over here. In 1991, the Secretary of Interior designated 16 Civil War historic sites in and around Corinth, Mississippi, at the Siege and Battle of Corinth National Historic Landmark District. So Trailhead Park is an excellent starting point for visiting one of the more nationally historic sites. As you can see here, this is Battery Robinette, where the conflict took place, specifically in Corinth during the Civil War. They actually have a cemetery here as well, and they have a railroad crossover located at the Union Station nearby. So the Union Army actually came in Corinth and occupied the city for at least 2 years during the course of the Civil War. And here goes another image of the deadly battle right here that took place. So essentially there's a trail that you could walk down over here, and the trail has several markers, several historical markers that, talk about the history of the Civil War. And it happens to be right over here at the railroad track. This is pretty cool right here. They have this area right here on the Trailhead Park that has artificial turf and the different colorful benches right over here. So that's pretty dope. Another one of these city maps. Downtown for historic Corinth. And this right here is the tourism office. Let me go check out this historic Corinth Depot and Crossroads Museum to get some insight on the railroad history right here in this small Mississippi city. And check this out. This is an image of the fire department truck. It's a 1924 American LaFrance fire engine. So this is an artifact right here for the Corinth Fire Department. And the firefighting apparatus displayed is a 1924 American Lafarge Type 75 triple combination pumper, chemical tank, and hose car. So it was manufactured by the American LaFrance Company of Elmira, New York, and it was delivered to the Corinth Fire Department by rail in March 1925 and has been owned by the department since then. It was retired from active service circa 1960, and this unit is 750 gallons per minute pumper. So the suction side of the rotary pump beneath the driver's seat and powered by a takeoff from the truck's massive 6-cylinder 884 cubic inch displacement engine was connected to a source of water, preferably for a fire hydrant, but perhaps a pond or any other source of water. So this thing can hold a lot of water. It's a very powerful firefighting apparatus. This is the first time I've actually saw a city or a town that had an actual display outside of a museum. I mean, I guess you can consider that part of the museum, but I've never seen it displayed in such fashion. That's pretty dope. And this is the building that houses the historic Corinth Depot and Crossroads Museum. And there goes an artifact of a tank or cannon rather. The big guns, the heavy artillery was placed in the best positions to command the roads and approaches from the quarter of the enemy. And that is P.G.T. Beauregard, April 1862. So again, this is a Civil War type artifacts right over here. This is the entrance to the museum, as you can see. And this is the Hurlbut Amusement Equipment Company locomotive number 1009. So this was manufactured by the Hurlbut Amusement Equipment Company of Witter, California in 1938, and it was originally a true steam locomotive and converted in 1955 to a gasoline engine operation for reduced maintenance and simplicity of operation. The prime mover is a Wisconsin single-cylinder 9.2 horsepower overhead valve engine. It drives a set of speed reduction V-belt pulleys through a centrifugal clutch. Okay, so very powerful locomotive right here. Manufactured by the Hurlbut. So this is basically used in amusement parks and a popular destination for kiddie rides. And a number of rides were located in Marchtown, which is a small community between Corinth and Kossuth, or Kossuth. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's not too far outside of Corinth. And they also have a genealogy society of Alcorn County. So I guess you could trace your roots if you're from this part of Mississippi, here at the Margaret Green Rogers Research Library. Okay, cool. They have a research library and a locomotive museum as well. All right, Corinth, y'all putting on, I see. And there goes a locomotive over here. It's actually powered up. It's on the Kansas City Southern line. And this right here is a caboose on the Gulf, Mobile, and Ohio Railroad Company, as you can see over here. And this particular caboose was built in 1970 by the International Car Company of Kenton, Ohio. It operated on the Gulf, Mobile, and Ohio Railroad until 1972, when the GM&O merged with the Illinois Central Railroad, forming the Illinois Central Gulf Railroad. In the early 80s, the caboose was repainted into an ICG color scheme and renumbered. In 1985, the Gulf and Mississippi Railroad was formed to operate in Mississippi and Alabama. Being acquired by the Gulf and Mississippi, the caboose was repainted and renumbered again. So it was during this time where caboose 2994 was put on permanent display here in Corinth and repainted to fit the Mid-South color scheme. So yes, that is the caboose right here, of course. So Corinth has a very vast history when it comes to railroads. Thought I'd point that out, of course. And those buildings right over there are basically storage facilities, or at least it looked like they were storage facilities. I don't know if they still are, because it looks like the buildings are pretty, from this vantage point, looks like they're abandoned, but it looks like in their heyday, they were used to store equipment for the railroads. Walking down Wick Street now. It's a ton of like boutiques on this street, as you can see right here. Clothing stores. But let me cross over here, because there's this interesting looking building right here. Called the Franklin Courtyard. It's interesting. Walk back down Wick Street. It's a lot of boutiques on this street. Boutiques and salons. And a bunch of other mom and pop stores. It's really nice. It's really nice. Cool thing about these small towns, again, there's mostly like small businesses, locally owned, family owned establishments. Not a lot of chain, like big name chain restaurants or establishments or big box corporations. It's just strictly locally owned communities. It's pretty cool. They have what's called a Dilworth's tamale serving since 1962. Okay, pretty dope. Pretty dope. Like a very historic restaurant right here in Corinth. I'm at the corner of Fillmore and Waldron Street. And this building right here, this building is the Alcorn Chancery Building, an historic building right here in Corinth. It's also the Trustmark building over there across the street. It's home of the Trustmark Bank. There's a lot of branches here in the state of Mississippi. Trustmark is headquartered in Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. And check out that mural over there that says, "Welcome to historic Mississippi, Corinth, Mississippi." It's pretty cool. And also over here was where the Provost Marshal headquarters was located. Is a marker for that. William Moss received a tavern license in 1857 for his new inn, the Moss House Hotel. After the Battle of Shiloh, the Moss House, like Corinth's other hotels and public buildings, was pressed into service as a hospital. When Union troops occupied the city on May 30th, 1862, the hotel became headquarters of the district provost marshal. So here's a image of a formerly enslaved family arriving in Corinth, and they would check in with the provost marshal's office before proceeding to the Corinth contraband camp. So, of course, obviously slavery was still in full effect in the midst of the Civil War. It's a bunch of historical houses down this way. That building over there, that house is called the Johnston's headquarters, site of named after General Albert Johnson. It's across the street over there. And this historical building is called Corinth's oldest church building, erected in 1871 by the Cumberland Presbyterian Church. And it was the first church established in Corinth. As you can see, you can tell it's an old brick building. I don't know what's up with the bricks. I don't know if they tried to paint over them or if it's just discolored, but yeah. A lot of historical buildings over here. And check out this house right here. It's another historical home right here in Corinth. It's called the Oak Home. And this Oak Home was built in 1857 by Judge W.H. Kilpatrick, used in the Civil War as headquarters of General Leonidas Polk. And it was bought in 1866 by Miss Thomas Quincy Martin and occupied continuously by her descendants. So this is a family heirloom right here called the Oak Home. And there goes an image of General Leonidas Polk, who occupied this home in 1862 until the siege of Corinth ended in May. And here's like a sketch of it right here, or like a little drawing. And it was built in 1857 by Tom Chesney, and it was built under the direction of Polk, or Judge Kilpatrick rather. So okay, pretty cool history. So I guess this would be a museum. It probably functions as a museum right now, in all likelihood, as opposed to a private residence. I'm gonna go down this way, see if there's some more houses and historical buildings this way, which I'm pretty sure there are. I didn't realize Corinth had so many historical buildings. It's like a cluster of them, like old buildings that was constructed back in the mid to late 19th century. But it does make sense, due in large part, again, that Corinth is historically rooted in the Civil War history, so it would make sense. Here's another building right here that looks like it functions as a museum. Now this is called the Veranda / Curly House. It was built in 1857. So that was years before the Civil War. In all likelihood, it was a plantation house. It definitely has a plantation house. It gives me plantation house vibes, right? It's a very sizable backyard too, as you can see. Now this Curly House is located on Jackson Street. And this right over here is City Hall. This is Corinth City Hall. This building. And according to this marker over here, it was also the site of headquarters for General Ulysses S. Grant in 1862. In mid-July, Grant removed to plantation home of F.E. Whitfield Sr., about 1 mile south of Corinth. But now this building functions as the City Hall of Corinth. Y'all excuse the little sniffles. If you hear any sniffles, it's my allergies. Check this out. They have charging stations for those EVs. This is going to be my last leg of this Corinth vlog right here in this section of the city. I'm over here in the Coca-Cola district, I guess is what you call it, the Coca-Cola district of Corinth. Corinth is home of the Coca-Cola bottling company, or bottling group rather. So it looks like over here, they have a Coca-Cola gift shop. It's interesting because when I did my Vicksburg vlog a few months back, Vicksburg also had a Coca-Cola museum there. So I guess they have a bottling company in not only Vicksburg, but they have one in Corinth. I find that very interesting. But this is the entrance to the Corinth Coca-Cola bottling group. So for those who are interested in the history of Coca-Cola, you don't necessarily have to go to Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta does have a nice museum for Coca-Cola if that's what you're into, but they also, if you want to go to like a much smaller town and get the history of the Coca-Cola and get a museum and everything like that, get the history and the insight, then you can either you can come here to Corinth or you could go to Vicksburg. But yeah, this is the bottling group headquarters over here, right here at Corinth. I wasn't expecting to see this when I came here, which is pretty dope. I love the unexpected. You know, the railroad history and stuff like that, I did expect that, but the Coca-Cola Museum, absolutely not. But it's really dope. As you can see right here. They even have a display of the vintage Coca-Cola machines, the vending machines. I wonder what this is. It's interesting. So for all you history buffs out there, Corinth has plenty of history. It's a nice, charming downtown. They have museums, including this Coca-Cola museum, as well as the Crossroads Railroad Museum. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up Corinth if you ever want to visit here. With that in mind, good people, this concludes the Corinth, Mississippi vlog. So if you made it this far, I'd like to thank you. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. And also, if you're new to the channel, I ask that you hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. And with that in mind, good people, until the next vlog, I'm out. Peace.